Hey everyone! Today we're diving into one of the most powerful books in the entire Bible, the book of Romans. Written by the Apostle Paul, this letter lays out the foundation of Christian faith, covering sin, salvation, grace, and what it truly means to live for God. If you want a clear understanding of the gospel, Romans is the book to study. So let's break it down chapter by chapter. Romans 1-3. Humanity's need for salvation. Paul wastes no time getting straight to the point. In Romans 1, he declares that the gospel is the power of God for salvation to everyone who believes, Romans 1:16. But then he shifts gears, explaining how both Gentiles and Jews are guilty before God. Romans 3:23 puts it plainly, "For all have sinned and fall short of the glory of God." Paul makes it clear, no one is righteous on their own, we all need saving. Romans 4-5. Justification by faith. Paul then brings in Abraham as an example. In Romans 4:3 he quotes Genesis 15:6. Abraham believed God, and it was credited to him as righteousness. The point? Salvation isn't about works, it's about faith. Then in Romans 5, Paul reminds us that Jesus' sacrifice gives us peace with God. While we were still sinners, Christ died for us. Romans 5:8. Romans 6-8. Freedom from sin and life in the Spirit. If Romans 5 tells us we're saved by grace, Romans 6 asks, does that mean we can keep sinning? Paul answers with an emphatic by no means, Romans 6:2. Instead, we're called to live as new creations. Romans 8 is a highlight of the whole book, declaring in verse 1, "There is now no condemnation for those who are in Christ Jesus." It's all about life in the Spirit, God's power working in us to transform us. Romans 9-11, God's plan for Israel. Paul then shifts to Israel. Has God rejected his chosen people? No, Paul explains in Romans 11, verses 25-26, that a partial hardening has come upon Israel, but in the end, many will return to God. This section reminds us that God's promises never fail. Romans 12-15, living as a transformed people. Now that we understand salvation, how should we live? Romans 12 starts with a famous verse, "Do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind." Romans 12, verse 2. Paul calls believers to love, serve, and live in harmony with one another. He even tells us to overcome evil with good. Romans 12, verse 21, which is a direct reflection of Jesus' teachings. Romans 16, final greetings. Paul wraps up with personal greetings, showing that faith isn't just about theology, it's about real people, real relationships, and real community in Christ. Romans is a powerful book that reminds us of the depth of God's love, the seriousness of sin, and the incredible gift of salvation through faith in Jesus Christ. So if you want to go deeper in your faith, start by studying Romans. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to comment your favorite verse from Romans, and subscribe for more Bible breakdowns. See you in the next one.